So it seems as though there is a few brand new box sets coming along with the arrival of the boarding patrol style missions in Arks of Omen, and to help you get your boarding patrol started, GW have shown off the first of these new collections with a Space Marines and a Chaos Space Marines version coming very soon, which will allow you to very quickly, very easily put together a small little force for you to dive into the cramped corridors of boarding patrol. First up, we have the Marines, whose box I have to admit is pretty cool. It's rather simple, but I do quite like it. It sports the new Primaris captain in his Gravis armor, accompanied by 5 of his chunky heavy intercessor friends, and then to really put the hurt on in melee, 10 assault intercessors to back them up. It is admittedly a fairly basic set of models, but definitely for a small skirmish game like Boarding Actions is meant to be, it is, I think, relatively well suited for getting a force to just dive into it and give it a go fairly quickly and fairly easily. And of course, if you need just some more generic Primaris bodies for your main Space Marine army, this is definitely not going to be a bad way to add a few more into that. With the new Munitorum points values, this all comes in at a very sweet 390 points, so there is still as well a little bit to play around with in your 500 point limit for boarding patrol, and in terms of price, it will set you back around £101 if you buy it all separately, so I don't think we have prices confirmed just yet. But with the usual 30-ish% savings we see from GW in these sort of collecting boxes and combat patrols and whatnot, I imagine that this boarding patrol box will kick in at roughly the £65 to £70 price range. So I don't think that's necessarily a bad way to get your boarding patrol force sort of off the ground and up and running. You can get this painted and built up relatively quickly because it is a fairly small number of models, and from what I have seen and read and heard, this is going to be a fairly fun little force to actually use in boarding patrol as well. On the Chaos front, we get a rather more specialised box. This has got a whopping 10 Chaos Space Marines, 20 cultists, and everybody's favourite villain, Abaddon. This one comes in at a bit of a heftier points cost, looking to be around 630 points with the new Munitorum Field Manual points changes, so this is actually going to be above your 500 point limit, but just by dropping 5 Legionnaires and a few of the cultists, that can get you down to that sweet 500 point spot, or alternatively, you could just bring, you know, another not 350 point Primarch-esque statline HQ in Abaddon. You could just bring a cheaper one if you've got one. I do think it's an okay box, although my one problem with it, and it's a fairly big one, is that if you already have Abaddon, and if you're a Chaos player and you love the lore and the army, you may well already have Abaddon, it's quite likely. Is it really worth getting this box just for essentially some more Marines and some cultists, which, yes, the cultists are nice, but the Marines have been out for a while now, and they used to be in the old Shadow Spear box anyway, so if you are a Chaos player, you probably don't need that many more Marines, so is this box going to be worth it? And if you're a new Chaos player and you're just doing a force for boarding patrol, do you really want Abaddon in every single game? I feel like this is way too top heavy in terms of having Abaddon there, and I think this is going to really limit people getting it, and it's certainly going to limit people getting more. Like with the Space Marine one, I could see players getting it if they just want to add more Primaris Marines to their army, to their existing 40k army, but if you have a Chaos Force already, are you going to want to buy this box? I would say probably not. In terms of monetary cost, this looks to come in at around £132 separately, so again, with the same 30-ish% saving, I would expect to see this around the £90 mark, so it does seem like these boarding patrol boxes may come in at different prices, because that is a rather large range between the £65 to £70 for the Space Marine one and the £90 one for the Chaos one. Whether they do some kind of middle ground and maybe sell them all at 80, I don't know, but I do think that it's going to be a case where each one is individually priced, because otherwise you're going to be getting so much better value for some of them compared to other ones. And again, I'm inclined to say that if they did try to do some middle ground price point like £80, they may impact their sales on that, because these can be very closely compared to the combat patrols, and I do think that in general, although they're a bit more expensive, you do get so much more in the combat patrols compared to these that a lot of people would just go for the combat patrol and not use the vehicle that you tend to get in most of them, and still feel like they've made a better choice in terms of purchasing a small infantry force to use in boarding patrol. Of course, we will find out the full confirmed price of these in the next few days, I would imagine, so we will have a better picture then. But for now, I think if you go by the fact that they may well be individually priced and get an average of 30% off, you can be looking at £65 to £70 for the Space Marine one and around £90 for this Chaos one. Finally, in addition to those two, we also have a brand new battle force for Chaos players as well. This one is actually a bit of a hefty one, and I really do quite like it. It's got some of these stunning new Chaos models in. It has a brutal combination of 10 Chaos Possessed, 5 Chaos Terminators, a Helldrake, and one of the stunning new Demon Prince models out in front. All told, that looks to be a whopping 745 points totally base, and will easily get you above 800 points when you add some upgrades like wings for the Demon Prince and some weapon options for things like the Terminators. So this, I think, is a really good, really solid fighting force, and I will be honest with you, alongside the boarding patrol set, this could net you a very nasty 1500 point list to use in the new Arks of Omen detachment. In terms of the price for it, you're looking at, assuming the new Demon Prince comes in at around £40, which I think it will, a roughly £190 force. So again, if we go with the roughly 30% saving we've come to expect, this could very well hit the shelves at anywhere from £130 to £140, which again, I think is actually not that bad. I could see GW maybe trying to be sneaky and push it out at 150, but equally £130 would be pretty much spot on the money with the 30% discount, and I do think if they do sell it at 130, it is going to sell like hotcakes, because that is a good collection of stuff, and also will pretty much mean that you get the brand new Demon Prince for essentially free, which will, I think, be a big incentive to a lot of players to get this box. So that is it for today. I do think the boarding action sets, the boarding patrol sets, are pretty simple and pretty fun. The Marine one especially I do quite like, and I can see a lot of people getting it either to start a Marine boarding action force or to add to their existing Space Marine force. The Chaos one feels like a bit of a loser in my book. It just is so top heavy. Having literally over half the points in Abaddon just feels a bit odd to me, and I think that GW have in some ways shot themselves in the foot by making people not really want to go out and get one at all, and certainly not want to go out and get more than one, whereas with the Marine box I could see players definitely getting 1 or 2 or even 3, especially if they want or need some more heavy or assault intercessors in their army. And then again, the battle force for Chaos is really good. I do like it. The Helldrake is arguably of questionable use, but I do think the Demon Prince, the Possessed, and the Terminators are all really new, really cool looking models, and I think a lot of people are going to want to get it just to add some more of those to their Chaos army. But as I said, it is all what it is. Some of you may like them more than others. There will definitely be some savings to be had with these boxes though, so if you wanted to start a new Ark of Omen force, this could be a really great way to dip your foot in. But, as always, what do you think of these boxes? Let me know if you will be getting any, or what you would have preferred to see maybe instead of Abaddon. Let me know down in the comments below what you think, and as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe for more Warhammer content from me, but until next time, I'll catch you later guys.